Hello. Oh, what's going on here? Why have I suddenly lost a lot of FPS? There we go, it's back. But, can anybody hear me? Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Everything should be good. Yay. Right there. Ooh. I'm going to turn just turn the music down a little bit. So it's just in the background. Sorry I'm late, guys. There's quite a delay. In fact, there is quite a delay. I'm sorry about the picture. I haven't got everything set up yet, but it's getting there. So, where should we start? I don't know. Let me just get, I suppose, get Discord going. Yay! Hello, Discord. Everybody's in Discord. Well, when I say everybody, I mean me. I'm in Discord. So, might as well start as we always do with this. So look at that. The M4 FL10, 3,500 gold. It's tier 7. It's an auto loader, first auto loader to hit the game. Not the best tank, must admit. Some people like it. I'm not one of those people. So there we go. Then we got this, the Suma SM container. So, you get 3 of them for 2,500 gold. Then you got, obviously you've still got this stuff here. And you got 19 of them for 17,500 gold. Or for 10,000 you get 10 of them. Or for 1,250 you get 1 of them. Classic French tanks, well, you've got 30B, what have you got? You've got the 30B, the CDC, the AMX, 31 Prota, and you've got some more French tanks here, maybe because Bastille Day. And there we got the, actually just going back to this, I mean, the CDC is basically the proper drac, to be fair. It's a good tank, man. Bear with me, I can't see what anybody's doing on YouTube. There we go. The MX-30 is a brilliant tank. The 1ER Proto, to be fair, it is a good tank for TNI. 30B is also a good tank, a bit tricky though, but it's a nice tank. And you're getting 3 decent tanks, tier 8, tier 9 and tier 10 for 25,000 gold. Considering that most tier 10s cost 20,000, that is not a bad deal, guys. And you get a load of other stuff as well. You get all the equipment unlocked, and you're getting for a tier 9, tier 10. That's a lot of cash. But anyway, hello Yusuf, hello Loro, hello I lost my hit points, hello Idyllic, hello Sentry, hello The Deal For Real, hello Anchor, hello Mako, hello Treadhead, hello Kiko. How's everybody doing? They're good tanks. They're good tanks. You know, and that's not a bad price. Then you've got, for 12,000, you've got 2 tanks, both tier 8, the M4A1 Revelés and the AMX M4 Mil 49. Now that's 2 tier 8s for 12,000. Where you're getting a tier 8, a tier 9 and a tier 10 for 25. It's seriously, it's worth considering, guys. Then you've got the AMX 1357 and the Lorraine 42, a tier 7 and a tier 8. That's for 9,000. I mean, the 1357, I don't know anymore. I mean, it used to be a great tank because nobody had it. It was easy to get masteries and everything in, but now lots of people have got it, so it's not so straightforward. But it's basically like the other AMXs. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. 9,000 that one. And then you've got more. See, this look, it's 15,000 the MX-30P, but that's not with anything. That's just the tank and the garage slot. Okay, you do get 7 Breton Panther containers, which isn't bad, to be fair. But that's 15. So if you just want the tier 9 and the tier 10 together, it's going to cost you 25. Whereas for 25, you get the tier 9 and tier 10 and tier 8. So it's really worth it. So they're really pushing these French tanks. But there we go. And then you got loads of other bump then. You know, the Eagle is in there. We've gone through most of that before. And of course, Avatar container. You should get Avatar containers, guys. Anyway, so I'm going to show you something. I'm going to get this because I've got a bit of gold. So I'm going to purchase it. And let's see if we can get the Suma. Shall we? Shall we see? Let's have a check. Probably can't. Okay. No doubt we won't get anything. But there it is. Suma SM. And you get the charms as well. If you're lucky enough to get it. So let's have a look. No tank. No tank. No tank. 2 seconds. I'm streaming.
You're smoking at the same time.
Huh?
You're smoking at the same time. Because it smokes.
No.
Smoke goes down.
There. No tank. No tank. No tank. 4 left. No tank. No tank. No tank. No tank. So we didn't get a tank. So let's see how much it's going to cost to get the tank. So 25 charms it takes. So that was 10. That's 17,000. So another 10, then I need 5 after that, 3. So that's going to cost me 10, 12 and a half. It's going to be cheaper this way, I think. Is it cheaper this way? I think it's cheaper this way, yeah? Hey, Rock Machine. Is it cheaper this way? I'm just thinking. 10,000 there. I need another 15 charms. That's going to cost me 10,000. That's going to cost me 17,510. 17,000. I need 15 charms though. That's only going to give me 10, which means I'm 5 short. That's only going to give me 3, which means I'm 2 short. That's 10. 12. Yeah, this way's cheaper. Just about. Only just. Just about. Yeah, of course we might get the tank. I doubt it. I'm never that lucky. No tank. 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 And no tank. And no tank. And this is the last one. And still no tank. So I'm now 5 away, so I've got to buy the 5 now, which is really annoying. So I have to buy this one first. So it's cost me 20,000 gold so far. Yeah, you know, you see how it's going. You know, it's not easy. No tank. Hey, we got a tank. It cost us everything, to be fair. Everything. We were almost, it's still cheaper than, so I spent 22, basically. 22,000 gold. But even if I would have gone the 19,000, it would have been the same problem. So, no. So, let's have a look at this new tank. There it is. It's basically an AMX with a different turret, yeah. No, absolutely not. All moved in comfy treadhead. Nowhere near, man. But it's getting there, slowly. So, there you go. Pretty bad. 21 charms it took, anyway. So that's that. What's in the bundles? Well, bundles are subscriptions to lots of things. And obviously the AMX M4, the tier 10, is on sale. There it is. But it's in containers, guys, and it's going to take you 25 charms to get that bugger as well. And that one's not for gold. That one's for a lot more. And the TS5 is still there. And the usual stuff is in there, along with the T55A and the Camp 70 at, well, what's that? It's about $15 really, isn't it? Hang on. No, it's not, is it? What am I talking about? So significantly more. That's $30. $30 for 2 tanks. So that's not bad though. considering that's a tier 9, 2 tier 9s that you're getting there. That's not a bad deal at all. Anyway, that's what's in the store. So, there's not much else. There's lots of things to throw your gold at, and there's lots of things to throw your cash at, and there's lots of things to throw most of your stuff at, to be honest with you. Let's be fair here. So let's get some replays on the go. What do you mean I'm not logged in? What's all this? Not logged in. You're not logged in. I don't understand. Hey? Why is it saying I'm not logged in? I'm clearly logged in. I am clearly logged in. It's very strange. It's very bizarre indeed. I don't understand why I can't play replays, but there we go. We can't play replays. It says log in for some reason. I don't know why it says that. Clearly I'm logged in, just took all my gold. If I'm not logged in, why did you take my gold? See, look, what's this? I don't understand, dear. What? I don't quite understand what's going on here, guys, to be perfectly honest with you. I really don't understand what's going on. It's really weird, yeah? I don't know what's happening here. Team Trouble, well at the moment, I don't know, because World of Tanks is giving me a bit of a hard time. And now it's saying it's got a problem. So bear with me, guys. Now it's saying it's not working. Give me 2 seconds. Let me try and get World of Tanks Splits working. Works fine on my iPad. Don't know what's going on here. It's very strange indeed. See, I'm logging in. I'm logging in fine. Everything's logged in. As I said, if I wasn't logged in, how is it you managed to take all my gold? And it's still saying not logged in. I don't understand. Oh, there we go. Finally. That was a bit of a ball's ache, wasn't it? That was really weird, man. Really weird indeed. Very strange. Anyway, with that in mind, so what's been going on? I've been away for like a while, so look at that. The screen's a bit skew with now, look, because I was doing it differently. Excuse me while I just look around the screen. There we go. Trying to get it slightly good. Look at the FPS, look. Whoa! Movies are bad, but you know, my ping is massive. I don't know why the FPS is so bad. It's not. It's certainly not from my end. Not that I know of, anyway. Let me just have a look at the speed test before we crack on, because I want to just check. The speed test is fine. It's fine. 800 megabytes a second. Nothing wrong with that. So I don't understand why it's sort of why the FPS is dropping like it is. It's very strange, guys. Anyway, it is what it is. It's not me, it's the game, I'm afraid. It's dropping again, the FPS. My ping from my computer is like brilliant, and my ping is amazing, so not my ping. My download and upload speeds are amazing. So I don't know what it is the honest answer. I wish I could tell you, but I can't. So, go figure. But if you're having a look at this on YouTube, then the replay is just really struggling. The FPS is dying, and the FPS at the moment, according to OBS, is only 52%. Sorry, 52 frames per second. Whereas my upload and download speeds are brilliant. Anyway, it's now. So I don't know what that is. That's the game. That's nothing else but the game, guys. So the game is killing FPS basically. Anyway, so wowzers, what's been going on? As I said, oh, look at that. Look at it. I don't know what is going on with these replays. I seriously don't know what's going on with these replays. It's gone all weird. I don't know what the game's doing. The game is just being mad. I mean, that's just bizarre. And I don't know what to say to that. It's just really weird. Completely screwed up. Wowzers. Jack, can you hear me? Oh, thank God for that. I'm having a horrible feeling that nobody can hear me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It's really bizarre, man. Yeah, it's really bizarre. It's really weird. I mean, I've just tried to play a couple of replays. It won't let me. Keep saying I'm not logged in. When clearly I'm logged in because it took all my gold. So... Oh, really, it's a glitch. It's a big glitch. It's even a bigger glitch if you're a Blitz YouTuber making videos on replays. That's a huge problem. It's not easy, is it? So there you go. Pretty surreal, man. Anyway, enough. So yeah, glitches galore as per usual. The ping has been pretty high recently. Well, not. Yeah, the ping has. It's been up and down. No, the FPS has also been a bit meh recently. So I don't know what's going on server-wise. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're updating something or whatever, or other things are having impacts on other things. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it's not been the best. And the teams are still the teams. But more importantly, I mean, I've not been keeping up to date with what's been going on in the tournament scene. And then I finally get all my internet and everything set up. And for want of a better term, I seem to have come back to the tournament scene to a colossal shitstorm. That's the only way I can describe it. So... Are you telling me that you can't hear Jack? You should be able to hear Jack. Say hello, Jack. Well, they can't hear you. Why can't they hear you? That's very bizarre. I can hear you. But OBS is not picking you up for some reason. No, the output audio is in the right place. This is very strange. Let me have a look. Monitor on? No, the monitor's on. What's the properties? Say something, Jack. No. Say something, Jack.
Hello, yeah. Yes.
Well, there
Right.
we go. I had to play around with certain things. You can now hear
Oh,
Jack.
dear.
Trust me. I've now got Discord to actually dance to my tune. It took some time because Discord, these are teething problems when you're resetting up your system, guys. It happens. What I didn't expect was, oh my God, me not being able to watch replays. That's very weird. And now the game's crashed again.
Oh
So,
dear.
so whilst the game is sort of having a hiss, oh no, we've got the replay. Well, so whilst the game is still actually having a hissy fit over whether or not to allow me to play replays, give us a précis, Jack, of what's been going on in the tournaments then.
Well, it has gone. Yeah, it's well, I can say it's docked dinner, literally. Yeah, I mean, all three servers have some issues on their own this season. Recently,
Okay.
concerning potential rule violations and controversies with teams.
Okay.
Right.
So I
So
saw.
EU server,
Yeah.
yeah, EU server. I think the one night I was streaming Turks, and that night was kind of meh, because there were several things that caught the attention of a lot of people. Firstly,
Okay.
I think a lot of you know about wargaming swinging their swinging their ban hammer, not really ban hammer, but removing the cups of both
Yes.
RNG and Turks for alleged passive play.
Yes, I saw that.
And yes, and the people are not happy about that punishment, and especially Turks, where they think they haven't done anything wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. And then yeah, and then that night as well, several people are blaming about server issues, but Wargaming denied there were any connection issues on their end, so the matches weren't replayed. And thirdly, A1N1 was accused of throwing in order to get into top 8 by losing to R2K in the upper bracket final, and then knocking Zenith out when Zenith was in the top 8
Okay.
themselves, because they think that RTK would not beat Zenith, and if Zenith qualifies to the next day, they will get into top 8. So there were accusations that A1N1 was like throwing in order to knock out a team out of top 8. But I
Okay.
can't confirm, and A1N1 obviously denies about these kind of accusations. But we can only speculate, which I don't think there's like a substantial evidence that they did throw.
Yeah.
That's the EU server
Yeah. I mean,
part.
it's difficult to prove these sort of things. To be fair, it's not the
Yeah,
easiest thing to prove that a team has done
yeah,
A, B, C, X, Y, Z. I mean, it's incredibly difficult.
yeah,
To be fair,
yeah,
but and I've had this conversation a long time in the past. Unless there's something absolutely, I mean, you're a part of the Discord for the tour streamers and all that sort of stuff, and you
yeah.
saw my recent comment to Fishy, which is
Right.
it's something I've got a problem with. I have a problem with the term passive play
Right.
because, literally speaking, passive play means you offer no resistance whatsoever, none. You don't fire
hmm
a shot. You do absolutely nothing active in the game.
Right.
So effectively, you don't try and kill the enemy in any way, shape, or form.
hmm
You don't try to take bases, or you don't try to reset bases. That's passive
Right.
play, strictly speaking.
True.
Now, this is where it becomes tricky because it's incredibly difficult, therefore, to prove passive play. Because all you need is somebody to fire one or two shots, and then it's no longer passive play. It's now active. Even if they're only
Mhm.
firing HE, knowing that they're only going to do splash damage, it's still not passive play, strictly speaking. And I've
Mhm.
had an issue with this ever since the spring season, when it came up in one game between clans
Winter,
of
I
unknown
think.
name. Was it
Yeah.
winter? Winter, spring, one of the two. I don't know.
Winter season, and you were streaming that game, so I think you
I
can
was, yeah,
mention what happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not. I mean, because despite look, it's playing the replay game. You get you get the same replay twice for the price of one. What more do you want, guys? I mean, awesomeness in a jug. Um, so that's the problem there, because in those particular games, their tactics were clearly designed to elicit a response, which was basically not to win one team over to t'other, but they weren't passive. I mean, if you YOLO into a load of heavy tanks in your back chats, that's not passive. That's the opposite of passive. It's aggressive, and this is why wargaming have a problem trying to penalise under that particular rule, and which is why I have a problem with that particular rule, because it's a useless rule. It's not
Oh yeah,
effective. I mean,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. In general gameplay, it's a great rule. But we're not talking general gameplay here. We're talking tournament gameplay, which is a completely different level, different playing field. It's not even the same sport
Yep.
as general random play. So with
Right.
that in mind, you can't then you can't have such a ridiculous rule as passive play. You've got to change it. You've got to change it, because it turns up to a situation whereby people say, "Well, wargaming are not doing their job. They're not penalising the clans effectively."
Mm.
But I understand.
And I mean,
I understand in this instance between 7X and RNG, both clans got penalised, did they
Right.
not? But then
no,
RNG
but
saw
both
that
of them.
clubs back, didn't they, or something?
No. Both Turks and RNG got penalized and their cups removed from
Okay.
that Go series, which effectively condemned Turks to the middle echelon championship instead of the summer season championship, which I think they fairly deserved this season.
Okay. So basically, somebody's complained, and upon review, Wargaming have said, yeah, it's not within the spirit of the game, it's a breach of the rules, and therefore we're taking your cups away, which is fair enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then I understand there was a similar situation on NA
yes.
that did not have
And
a
as
similar
I
outcome.
understand, no.
But there you go.
And as I understand that MJ tried to lose the game in order to get the fourth place, so that they will have better seeding in the
Okay.
summer season championship. This is what people are accusing MJ of. The intention of throwing the game to get a better seeding. But
Well, let's just stop there a
um,
moment.
yeah,
I know. Hello. How you
what?
doing? Straight pipe. How you doing? What rule have they breached there?
No, I mean the gameplay. To be honest with you, like even if you lose to SLG, I mean it's only speculation that you try to lose that game in order to get a better seeding. But I think the gameplay there. I think what's mentioned is that MJ had a really good advantage, but then they kind of miraculously lost it.
Uh-huh.
And shooting HE for like
Yeah.
unknown reasons to kind of allow SLG to get that game, but
Sure. But again, what rule have they broken?
um to be honest with you, I would say it's I think someone highlighted kind of rigged battles or similar actions of any kind. I think,
But it's not
in my
rigging,
opinion,
because
that
this is the other problem with rigging. Rigging requires both parties to be colluding to an extent. So one party saying
uh
throw this game and we'll give you X, and the other party saying okay. There's got to be a collusion somewhere. There's got to be.
yeah, I don't think there is any collusion, but rigging might not necessarily be having like two parties involved. But like I mean, for example, in random matches, kind of just I think maybe just I don't know. For example, you in the same team, you just kind of um do something intentionally that will give the team something, or
Uh-huh.
yeah, or similar actions of any kind, something like
Yeah.
that. So
It's a tricky one, guy. It's a tricky
I
one
believe it's, yeah, it's
because
a tricky one.
rigging
Yeah.
is realistically rigging. You're
Hmm.
doing something to gain a reward of some description. Okay.
But they are gaining a reward, which is
Yeah, but
something.
it's incredibly difficult to say. I mean, let's have a look at the actual rule. So, um, because the rule itself is an interesting one. Look, I can't log in. Oh, there we go. Look, halfway through the bloody replay. So
Hmm.
it says, where is it? These are the game rules. Rigging battles or similar actions except for training rooms to achieve eye stats or in-game rewards, etc. Now, in random battles, if you cast your mind back, there was an APA and Loka scenario, I believe it was, where one of the players blocked a member of their own team in order for the other player in a 50B, no, not 50B, in an E50M to get the mastery and get number one in the Hall of Fame with his almost 10k damage. That is rigging or a similar action to achieve a high stat. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you do, but that again is collusion. There's two parties involved there. There's two players.
Right.
So one player, even
Right.
though they're on the same team, one player is saying, "I'm going to block these guys so you get all the damage," etc., etc. So that's rigging in that respect. But this is normal game rules. Now, in a tournament, proving that a team has intentionally thrown it, very difficult to do. It's very difficult to do. I mean, Bushka recently did a video where he I can't remember what video it was, but he was showing a replay, and his thumb kept hitting the heat instead of the HE button instead. It happens. It's
Right.
happened to me, whereby I've
Hmm.
hit the HE button and it hasn't swapped ammunition on my iPad for some reason.
Right.
So if somebody is gonna hit somebody for HE in a tournament, which in fairness does happen because any damage is damage in tournaments, and sometimes you're just trying to
Yeah.
put that HE shot into the top cupola of that IS4 or whatever, and maybe they tried to change ammunition, they just didn't, and they were unaware of that. This is why it's so difficult to prove that, and
Yeah.
it's a really tricky one, which is why I think
Yeah.
wargaming really need to go back to things, and they need to look at these rules. And as I said recently, the game itself and the tournament scene has evolved, and unfortunately, the admin for the tournament scene is evolving less quickly. So
Yeah.
it's playing substantial catch up, and there's only two members of
Hmm.
staff full time across all four servers. God bless them. And it's Sirius and Daria.
Yeah.
So they're particularly under pressure. And
Yeah.
as I said in the official Discord the other day, doesn't matter what wargaming do with regards to tournaments, nobody's going to be happy. So it doesn't matter what they do, people are still going to be annoyed, regardless of if it's
Yeah.
something good or something bad. And this is not me blowing smoke at wargaming's arse, by the way, guys. It's just reality. We didn't like the tickets. They changed the tickets, and we still don't like stuff. we didn't like the win rate seeding or the way things were going, so they're taking their sweet time on the win rate seeding, but they changed it to the bronze, silver, gold series, and we still don't like it. No matter what wargaming do, we don't like it. It's that straightforward. We'll always pick holes in it, and no system will ever be perfect. Hi, Grumpy. No system
Yeah.
will be perfect.
I agree. I totally agree. So sometimes, I mean, if Wargaming did something right, I think we should encourage more of that. But then we still have to, fight for changes that will benefit the community and so on.
Totally, and I totally agree with that. I've
Yeah.
said before, and I don't understand. I mean, from my perspective, personally, wargaming need to eat a little bit of humble pie, and
Hmm.
like they do
Yeah.
with the testers, they need to reach out and say, "Look, guys, we'd like to put together either a focus group or a committee or whatever you want to freaking call it. Doesn't really matter. They could stick
Hmm.
it on their official Discord and just open it up to certain individuals. Maybe the clan leads of
I
the
agree.
top 8 clans or the top 16 clans, I don't know. Or even retired tour players, because there are a few of those knocking around, out there.
Thomas.
Absolutely, there's a few of them knocking about, so they could invite
Well, yeah.
them, and and say, guys, can you give us your input? And, okay, they can't
Yeah,
change the
I
parameters and stuff. I mean, wargaming have to sort of write the development stuff. Well, that's why they've
mhm.
got devs. So it can be done, but wargaming just seem to be totally unprepared. Now, I'm not
Oh,
saying
yes.
I'm not saying to them, look, wargame, give the community your Twister Cup or your Blitz Cup. I'm not saying that. Don't do that. What I'm saying to them is, look, guys, when you're doing these tournaments like lead in, like the prove your skill tournaments, etc., engage the community more.
Right.
Don't why try to put your hat on with both arms tied behind your back? Free one of your arms, and
Hmm.
there are people out there who'll jump on the bandwagon to help you out, but they don't
Yeah,
want to do it.
I agree. And yeah, they don't want to do it. But I mean, you see how, I mean, the testers definitely have contributed a lot to the game. And I think the last few Tier 10 tanks release, they were all rumored to be really good, but in the end, they were quite balanced. So Wargaming could do well with engaging with the community, with these tanks and so on. So
Totally.
I think they can do a good job with engaging the tournament community. And I think two people responsible for tournaments is it's really heavily understaffed. I mean, uh, a lots of community tournaments they need more than two people organizing,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
and it's important that they provide resources to the esports. I mean, the esports is not just about organization, but also the publicity,
Yes.
about statistics, and also uh, people who have experience with organizing esports tournaments with regards to tournament formats, and
Mm-hmm.
also some coders as well, because it seems that wargaming is struggling with coding too. So
Yeah. It
I
seems,
think
yeah,
there
maybe,
there needs yeah.
but they need they. I mean, I don't understand why they just don't reach out a little bit. I mean, okay, I understand that
Yeah.
there's trust issues. You can't trust everybody. I get that, but that's no different to the testers.
Yeah.
That there are people out there who are capable. To be fair, there
Mm,
are people out there who can be
right.
trusted. There are people out there who are more than willing to give up their time to an extent to
Mm,
help out to make things successful. Um, but if you don't ask, you never get. In wargaming, don't ask. Again, guys, you're getting two replays for the price of one. There's nothing I can do about that. The game just wants to show both the replay twice. I don't know why. It's just the way it works. And it's the same as
yeah.
because as I said, the tournament scene is evolving. There
Mm,
comes a point in time, like there does in all sports, that the other side of the admin side of it needs to evolve as well. And unfortunately,
true.
if wargaming do really want a viable esports division, so to speak, and they've got a game
Mm,
that can give them a viable esports, then they need to start closing down not just these loopholes, but this nonsense of bad play, passive play, whatever you want to bloody call it, and potentially get in again referees. They need referees. And I'm not saying they need
Yeah, I
people
mean,
sat in there watching the game as it goes. I mean, all you need is you just need you just need to get the replays and review them later. Now I know people at Wargaming do review them, but I don't know effectively who they are. Are they qualified? Are they experienced, etc., etc.? I just don't know. Or are they just, a couple of guys sat there saying, "Oh yeah, that looks like it's okay." You just don't know. That's the thing. But it's something to consider. But it's up to them. It's up to them.
yes. Yeah, I mean, also wargaming. I mean, as I'm seeing in the last few seasons, there is really a huge trust issue between the staff and also the players, and it seems like yeah, the staff have their own ideas and the players have their own ideas. But I mean, even the players themselves are quite divisive
Yeah, but
in a lot of
that's always the
things.
case. That's
But
always the case.
yeah, yeah, that's always the case. Yes, but I think. I think both parties would need to
Oh,
do something on their own as well.
excuse me a moment. My Elgato stream green screen is turning up. Hang on, 2 seconds. Hello. Yes. Hi. Um, 30 minutes. Tomorrow. Or tomorrow. Tomorrow's better. Okay? Tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Bye. Sorry about that. Arranging the delivery of my
Oh
Elgato
no.
green screen. Which was meant to
Ah,
come.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's
it
quite
happens.
expensive too, but it's good. Yeah.
No, I got
Yeah.
it
No,
quite
I
cheap
was
this
saying
way.
like
I actually got it quite cheap for a change. It's not that expensive here
oh,
for the moment. Because
oh,
normally I
interesting.
don't. How much are they
Right.
normally? I picked it up for about
Hundred
100.
pounds, something like £100 or thereabouts, but it's still pretty expensive.
Yeah, I got it for about $90. So that's not expensive, but
Ah,
well, it's not for Dubai. Everything's expensive in Dubai, to be fair, guys. So
right. Yeah.
everything's expensive here. So it's not the best. It's not the best.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm waiting for that. Before we go on, the Bear Nose from
Mm.
Vibes is saying, to be fair to
Yeah.
Wargaming, why would they add more staff when only 40 clans have taken part in the summer season? That is a good point. It's very true. And that's including clans with 2
Well,
teams.
true. Well, no, but as you see, a lot of community tournaments they have much fewer than like 40 clans participating, and they still need more than two people organizing. So, I think whichever way you see, whether I mean however much the number of participants in wargaming tournaments are,
Hmm.
two is still a very terribly low number, and for all the obvious reasons, they really need to provide support. And I can feel for Sirius and Daria for being under a lot of pressure,
Yeah, I mean,
dealing with a lot of messages and so on.
totally. But just moving off track a little bit. And again, guys, I'm not
Yeah.
blowing. Just contrary to what other more successful YouTubers have said about people who got their gift boxes, I'm not blowing smoke at Wargaming's arse or anything of the sort. I'm just trying to bring some reason to what we face. Now, I know that as players and the player base, we moan a lot, okay? But
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it didn't really hit home until the recent ACE challenge, okay? So Wargaming, before the update, did this challenge over a week where everybody can go out in a tier 8 to tier 10 and you've got to get as many aces as you can. Yeah, that was the challenge.
Mm.
And the amount of hate that I've seen on this, directed at players and at clans and at Wargaming, was just totally ridiculous. I mean, it was seriously
Yes.
ridiculous. And it
Yes.
got me thinking. Are we so negative as players? Does this game make us so negative that it absolutely gives us zero enjoyment whatsoever? Because from where I sit, no matter what anybody does, wargaming or this person or that person, no matter what they do, we just moan about it. And we just moan about it. And then moan about it a bit more. And I don't get that mentality. I mean, people were saying that the Aces Challenge thing was completely wrong. I mean, why? All you had to do was jump into a tank and farm aces. That's all you had to do. And I saw somebody saying, oh yeah, but it's now just tryhards going out in tanks that nobody ever plays. And what's your point? What's the point? The idea is to get aces in tier 8, 9 and 10. If you can roll out in a tank that nobody plays and get an ace, then what's your problem? I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, why are you picking on everybody? And I've seen, messages saying that this guy is a cheat and this guy is a cheat and this guy is in this clan is a cheat, etc., etc. And it just it bothers me. It bothers me because I suddenly realised there is literally, if I tell you what, if Wargaming tomorrow morning said every single player in the game will get 1,000 gold just for being a player, we'd still complain. Why is it only 1,000? Why is it not 1,500? Why is it not 2,000? And it's all the same. It's all the same. And it's the same with tournaments. I'm telling you, it's the same with tournaments. So there are teething problems. Of course there are. Every sport in the world has issues. Nothing is perfect. And, what I see is everybody complaining, yet nobody is stepping forward to say, okay, do you need help? We'll help. I'll do this. We'll do that. We'll do this. We'll do that. But nobody does. Nobody really does. I know a few people do behind the scenes because I've been one of them, Jack has been one of them, etc., etc. But we as a base, to be perfectly frank and honest with you, our expectations are really high. It is really high. And if you cast your mind back to the previous events, again, it's another tank I'm not going to get for free. The idea is never to give you a free tank. never to give you a free tank. The idea is to get you to play the game, to try and get the tank for as minimum amount of gold as possible. And this is the thing with tournaments. Now, tournaments is a bit of a it's a misnomer because basically the players have to put in time and effort to win a small amount of money. It's not massive money. And the chances are the investment in time, blood, sweat and tears that they put in doesn't reward them enough when they win anything. But again, tournament, so there is money up for grabs and teams and players are going to do whatever they can to bend those rules to breaking point to try and get some cash. It's as simple as that. And I don't blame the players for that. But I do think that Wargaming need to throw more at it. But, as the Bare Nose says, it's pretty difficult to throw stuff at it when people aren't really interested. Which is a very good point. It is a very good point. But I don't know.
So I mean, no, I was saying like the trust issue between the players and wargaming, and I think both parties need to do better in order to kind of bridge the gap.
Oh, I agree with that.
What I'm seeing right now is we are heading into a vicious cycle whereby wargaming haven't been doing really well with the rules and maybe the tournament formats. And the players complain a lot and throw in a lot of abuse to wargaming stuff. And in return, I don't think anyone human would love to get abused season after season. Like, I understand, like, you will be at the breaking point if you keep on getting abused because it's not okay.
Well, to be fair to Nopka and Sirius, They've got a lot more patience than me
Yeah.
because I would have just told people to F off
Yes.
by now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've got a lot more patience than me.
They have a lot of patience, and they would, I mean, with that amount of abuse they are receiving on pretty much a daily basis, who would be motivated to improve the system and try to make a better system because as you said before, whatever they do, the players never get satisfied. So why bother improving when it's like it's not going to it's not going to be or it's not going to be accepted by the players. So it goes both ways. And
No, it
then
does.
wargaming just doesn't seem to like improve and so on. And then players keep on complaining. And with this kind of vicious cycle, we could bring down the entire CW scene. And it's not good to say. I think, as I said, is both parties need to step up, not just wargaming but also the CW community itself.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Esports is the fastest growing industry in the
Hmm.
world. So,
Yeah, yeah.
there's opportunity for wargaming to capitalize from their business perspective. And no doubt they're looking at that
Hmm.
because they're not idiots.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, and if they do, then in order to capitalize, my personal view, then they do have to do a lot of changes in the clan war
Yes.
scene, starting
Hmm.
with rules and regulations. But then
True.
therein lies the problem, because if you start putting too much in, you then start to sort of turn players off playing clan wars. And clan wars is only going to exist as long as clans want to play it, to be fair. Now, there's always going to be
Mm.
clans who want to play
Yeah.
it, but in order to get a really active scene, then you need a lot of clans playing it, realistically,
Yeah.
because it becomes stale after that. So at the moment, we have the two biggest services are EU and EU for Clan Wars. NA is very competitive, so is Asia, but with the amount of teams, they're not massive. Although, if what the Bear Knows is saying, with only 40 teams registering on EU, then at the moment, then yeah, EU is on par with Asia, to be fair, in that respect.
Shrinking. EU is shrinking in that respect, and yeah, as people said, multiple teams and teams that never show up.
Yeah, but summer season's always been this way. It's never been their premium tour. I mean, spring
No,
season,
no.
autumn season, it's always been their premium tours. With autumn season obviously leading on to what used to be Twister before the
Yeah.
unspecified virus from unspecified origin took over the world. Um, oh look, 2 replays for the price of 1 again, guys. There you go. In the thing is that summer season's always been a sort of mixed bag. I mean, cast your mind back to last year, it was tier 8.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh.
always been their testing ground. Summer season's always been Wargaming's testing ground, with more of their
Yeah.
focus being on spring and on autumn. They've now sort of thrown into that mix winter, so it'd be interesting to see how that develops further throughout its life. But so summer season, you can't really take too much from that because people go on holiday, people haven't got the time, and some of the players just don't want to be bothered for obvious reasons. I mean, their eye is on that big autumn season leading to the big Twister stroke Blitz Cup scenario. So I totally understand that, and I totally get that. But, when I look at some other games, to be fair, there are some other games out there that have planned their tour season well in advance. They don't just throw it on you at the last minute. It's well planned in advance. So players, because don't forget, these players aren't being paid, unless you're BPS, then maybe you are. But generally these players aren't being paid. So they're doing this in their spare time. And to be a top clan, it's not just about skill, unless of course you're endgame where it's just about skill.
No, no.
They have to train. They have to train. and they
Yeah.
have to do that sort of stuff. So, there are things that interact with everything else. And it's just funny where this game is never gonna be in the realms of Fortnite where players can win up to $2 million. It's never gonna be there. But like all games, it starts slowly until you get to a point whereby you can then capitalize. But it's that getting to that point is slow. It is slow, unless of course
Yeah.
BPS. And if you BPS, then you're already there. Well done, you.
But also I think during this stage, I think really the organizers and the communities who should work closely with one another, and I
Totally.
really hope that Wargame is going to reach out, and I think that will help a lot.
Totally.
And I also think that the community should look beyond, trying to find ways to trying to find shortcuts. Basically, that's what I say.
They'll always do
But
that, Jack. Where real life cash is
I know they
involved,
always do that.
where real life
I
money is
know.
involved, they're always going to find the path of least resistance to get to that cash.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
just
but
life. Um, there's not much you can do about that. And saying we
yeah,
want the community to step up as well, it's a big ask,
yeah.
to be fair.
It's a
Because
big
they,
ask. It's
because
a
they're
big
not,
ask.
because
Yeah,
what is their incentive to step up in real terms?
I
Not
don't
much,
think so.
really.
So
It's not much, really.
not. Yeah, I could see it's like not much, but I mean, but if they don't, then yeah, I could see that the clan war scene would probably shrink.
There's probably some
To be
truth in that. It
fair.
probably will shrink, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
over time,
Yeah.
which is something. I mean, look, there are two major ways that wargaming get money. Okay, one is by
Yeah.
sponsorship, and sponsorship only
Mhm.
comes with doing the clan wars, and the other is by players spending their hard-earned pennies and pocket money. That's it. There's the only two ways
Yep.
they get money. Okay, and it's a catch-22. With 99% of the player base spending their hard-earned pocket money on this game, and only 1% of coming from sponsorship, wargaming are always going to focus more on the majority rather than the minority. That's just makes
Yeah.
perfect sense and logic. So the only way, and I've said this many times, the only way to attract bigger sponsorships is to. I've run out of replays, guys, because of the update, and the replays I've got, whilst I can show them, are no bloody good because I'm using them for a video. Simple as that. So sod off. The only way to attract sponsors is to increase views. Simple. And the more people who watch, the bigger the audience. The bigger the audience, the more sponsors are interested in throwing cash at you, because they then get to a bigger audience. Now, when Wargaming do their big grand finals in the tournaments, and you've been there as well as I have, on the RU server they get 20-odd thousand plus people watching. On the EU server we had 5,000-6,000 people watching at that one time, almost 10,000 I think.
Mhm.
So these are this was the Blitz Cup, and these are big events. And those are significant numbers of people watching a live stream. 25,000 people on the RU server watching a live stream is a significant number of people. That is great for sponsors. Now, I've got 20 people watching this live stream. Nobody's going to sponsor me. not for an audience of 20. It just doesn't work. And that's the thing. And try and bridge that gap. And until Wargaming see that there is potential to bring revenue in from their clan wars, then they're always going to be reluctant to throw cash at it. Always.
Yeah. True.
But again, it's a mixed bag. And I've said this many times. Sometimes the clans don't do themselves any favours either. You know, they're
No,
very.
obviously. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, this goes to most clans out there. I'm not picking on any clan in particular. They're very insular. They're not very approachable, and stuff like that. And sometimes it's understandable, sometimes it's not. And you know, I know you've tried to do some of the backgrounds behind them, etc., etc. We've tried to do interviews with some of them, and you know, clans are coming around to it. Where you know,
Some refuse to be interviewed.
exactly, some refuse,
Yeah.
and this is not good from look, clan wars. You've got two ways to go this way, guys. This goes to all the pro clans out there. If nobody streamed it, then nobody would give a shit about it. I'm telling you this for a fact. Okay?
Yeah.
And the money you'll be fighting for would be even less than what it is now. And nobody would give a damn. Because nobody's watching it now. It's not... See, and this is where you all miss the point. A lot of you. YouTube is entertainment. It's just entertainment. Okay? And when it comes to entertainment, you, the players, are entertaining others. And if you're going to turn around and say, I'm not going to interview, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do this, people go off you very quickly because it's no longer entertainment. And they'll watch it, they'll watch the game, and then they'll disappear and they won't stay for the rest of it. And this is where the clans are shooting themselves in the foot. You want more money, guys, to win? You need to do more to attract people to come and watch the streams. Simple as that. Because what I see is everybody relying on everybody else to do things for them. And I see I see this in the tournament Discord on the official server. Everybody's moaning. Everybody whinges. Okay? They whinge about the ping. They whinge about the prize money. They whinge about wargaming not taking appropriate action. They whinge about the streamers. Oh, this streamer, he has crap FPS. Or this streamer, yeah, he missed this and blah, blah, blah. Guys, the streamers do it for free, normally. Okay, their takeaway from it is they may get views, they may get subscribers. So, effectively, they're putting themselves out to actually allow people to watch you play and to watch you shine. That's what they do. Okay? And all you're doing is turning up and playing. Well, with the greatest respect, not being funny, you're not Barcelona Football Club. Okay, where you should be taking fees for people watching you. It's not the way it works. You've got to build up slowly, guys. And when you get to that illustrious position whereby literally thousands of people want to watch you, that's a different argument. But at the moment, you haven't got thousands of people wanting to watch you. So you want the more money, you want wargaming to throw more at it, then you need to change your attitude as well a little bit and be a little bit more approachable and a little bit more engaging with the audience that effectively is giving you a platform to show off your skills. Because with no streamer and no audience, no one's going to watch Clan Wars. Simple.
Yeah, and can I also add something about that as well?
Certainly.
And I hope that the community could become more friendly with one another, because I think that is very important to encourage more people to participate in clan wars. And sadly, I think some servers, the environment has become quite toxic, where it drives away a lot of the newcomers, and some servers are a lot more friendly, and the different and I can see the difference is already very substantial. Like a more friendly environment would encourage more players to play and do better, and I think the community itself needs to be a bit more friendly with one another and not be too exclusive and too arrogant in some way.
You're getting it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It takes all sorts to make the world turn. Of course, it does. But
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of things. Tell you what, these e-cigarettes are really bloody potent. They're stronger than my cigarettes, my actual cigarettes. And I've been smoking these now for ages, and it's still bloody. But it's a nice minty taste, and there's no smoke, of course. Anyway, So a couple of things. I mean, I've noticed recently that the game is getting. It's always been a toxic game because all online stuff is toxic.
Yeah.
You know, keyboard warriors exist no matter where you are.
Yeah.
And hiding behind the anonymity is just easy to bully somebody.
Hmm.
I mean, that's always going to exist and always will. You're never going to get rid of that in real terms.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sometimes I despair with the player base. So I watched a video from another famous YouTuber, who I'm not going to name. He was talking about worst teams or whatever it was. And there was a comment there from a guy who one of the on the comments on the video who said he only wants to play people with the same skill level as him. So how does that work? So he said same skill or better than him. So okay, let's say you're a 45% win rate player. That means anybody with 45% upwards, you want to play against them. Well, that happens anyway. Where's your point? If you're a 39% win rate player, that means you'll play against people with 39% upwards. That happens already. So again, where's your point? Unless you're a 60% win rate player, which means you never want to meet anybody below 60%. Well, you need bad players for you to get to 60%. Simple as that. Because if you've got see, it's logic, guys. You've got two 60% players, yeah? That means out of 10 matches, they win 6, lose 4. Okay? So if there's, hey, Heffalum, how you doing? So we got two 60% players and we're going to play 10 matches and they're going to be on the opposite team for all 10 matches. One of them is not going to be 60% after 10 matches because you can only win, well, only one of them can win 6. One of them's got to lose 4 if one of them is going to maintain his 60%. Stands to reason. Does it not? They can't both win 6 out of 10 if they're on the opposite team. So one of them is going to be a 40% win rate player after the 10 games, and the other, if one of them is going to maintain his 60% win rate, it means out of the 10 games he has to win 6. He has no choice. He has to win 6, which means the other 60% player has to lose 4. Yeah, which means the other 60% player after 10 matches is now a 40% player. So does that mean he wants to change his M? This is where it gets me. It does eventually, and then we play another 10 matches, and in that other 10 matches, the 60% player who maintained his 60% now loses 4. Loses 6 matches and only wins 4. And over time, you become a 50% player, both of you, over time. And this is why it doesn't work. Now, for you to be 60%, one, you need a bit of skill. Yes, you do. Of course you do. But also, you need shit players on the other team for you to show that you've got your skill. It's as simple as that. If you didn't have bad players on the other team that you can farm off, then you're not going to be a 60% player. I'm sorry, you're just not. It just doesn't work that way. Oh, by the way, the reason I'm not showing any replays, I've run out. Sorry. It's just the way it works.
Yeah. Talking about toxicity and stats as well. I think some of the recent streams, I got someone telling me to show my stats.
Oh, you get
Why
that all the
do I
time.
have to do that on my stream?
You get that all the
Yeah.
time. And I say to them,
Oh.
I say, which, okay, fine, you want to see my stats, which account? Do you want to see my Asian account, my EU account, my RU account, or my NA account? Which one do you want to see? Because if you want me to, I can show you my RU account. I'm 100% win rate after 20 something battles. So there you go. I'm one of the best players.
Oh
in
my
RU.
god.
That's bullshit. You want to see my Asian account? Okay, I'm a 67% win rate player. Or you want to see my NA account? Okay, I'm a 68% win rate player. So which account do you want?
I think it's really
Same.
ridiculous, and then people and then people also are not happy about players with less than 60% win rate participating in the top eight or the summer season championship. Which once again, I think it's bullshit as well.
That's hubris. That's just sheer hubris, thinking that, and this is one of my problems, because the game has never been elitist in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. It's never been an elitist game. It is literally open to everybody. If you're a clan filled with, I don't know, let's say 30% win rate players, okay, you've got a clan just of, I don't know, 30% win rate players. There is nothing preventing that clan from entering any tournament and doing the best they can. Nothing.
Yes.
Okay? Regardless of their win rate. If they just want to get together and have a bit of fun and earn a bit of credits, fair play to them. And that is what I've always liked about Blitz. The game itself is not elitist. We make it elitist, as in the players. Tommy D, 60 years old. It's the only 60 I'm going to see. Mate, I'm there. Seriously, I mean, I'm never going to get to 60% on my main account. Never.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't care.
Yeah. But I hate this kind of game.
Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I hate this kind of gatekeeping for the top eight. I mean, for the stats, and it's like I can't hear anything. Okay, I can hear something.
Yeah, we're
But
still here, don't worry.
and it's I'm like I hate this kind of gatekeeping, and I think tournaments aren't about just a player, one single player. I think it's a collective,
Well, this is what I'm
and I
saying
really
to
love
you.
to see when
But that's the point I was trying to make earlier. And this is where some teams and some players miss the point. It's not about... It's, to take a leaf out of Doctor Strange, it's not about you. It's about what people want to watch. Okay? And it's like... If you remember, everybody must have seen, or I'd expect, although my wife hasn't, oddly enough. Most people have seen the film Gladiator. Okay, most people have seen that film Gladiator, and there's a part where what's his name, Oliver Reed, who's playing Praximus, says to Russell Crowe, who's obviously playing Maximus, and he says it was never about going out there and killing people faster. It's the entertainment they want to see. That's the same with Clan Wars and YouTube. It's not about this and that. It's about entertaining people. It's about what people want to see. It's as simple as that. And, people sometimes, in the FA Cup in the UK is a prime example. Sometimes people like the underdog to beat the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds, the Man Cities and the Arsenals. They like that. They like seeing the underdog beating them. And it's no different with Blitz, Clan Wars. If a clan of 30%ers came along and knocks a Endgame or Loka out, people would love that shit. And they would.
Yes. But I think it's also exclusive to the Blitz community. I think they would complain that,
I've seen
some team through.
No, I've seen that already. So I saw a comment. I saw a comment earlier on the Wargaming Discord saying this season is from NA. This season is a joke because there is no way you can say that the strongest teams on NA are in the top 8. Okay, I'm confused.
What?
If they're not the strongest, if the strongest teams are not in the top 8, where are the strongest teams? Because if they're not in the top 8, then by default they're not the strongest teams. They didn't play to their best.
And to be honest with you about NA top 8 this season, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good set of clans in the top 8 actually. Yeah. I mean, and I think the only clans which didn't play would be Rain and also Apex, which now went to Primal. So
yeah, but this is always the way with clans.
Yeah.
It's summer season.
Yeah, and as I said, I don't think there are like more like 4 or 5 really good clans not playing this season. Like it didn't happen on any server.
Hmm.
It's still kind of the clans that we're expecting in the top
Yes.
eight
Yeah.
through their performance and so on. I don't see the point there, to be honest.
Exactly. Nor do I. Treadhead Pete. That's the thing we want to see. That is, you've hit the nail on the head. Close matches, epic comebacks, upsets, blood, sweat, and tears.
Mm.
That is what people want to see. So all the streamers can stand there and go, "Are you not entertained?" That's what we want to do, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody likes going to a football match. There's a Simpsons episode, okay, where they bring a Mexican football. They bring a team from Mexico, football team, football. You know, where they play with their feet. Not this American football where they throw the ball. The one you play with your feet. Football. They bring the best team from Mexico and the best team from, I don't know, somewhere else in Central or South America to Springfield to play football. And they've got the two commentators. They've got a Mexican commentator, and they've got what's his name? I can't remember his name now. The news anchor for The Simpsons, whatever his name is. So they go to so they're kicking the ball just around the circle in the middle of the field. Yeah, passing to each other, and the Mexican commentators go, you know, so and so passes to so and so, holds, passes back to so and so, great pass over to so and so, blah blah blah. And he's really excited about it.
Mhm.
Switch to the American commentator. I can't remember his name is now. Anyway, and he says, "Oh, he's passed it to him again. Now he's just holding it. Oh God, he's just holding it. Oh no, he's passed it back to the guy who just gave it to him." It's like nobody wants to see that sort of stuff. You know, they don't want to see boring matches. They want to see epic comebacks. They want to see games that go to the wire. And they want to see
Yeah.
the great gameplay that the top players in the game, who are the pros, come out with. And Kent Brockman, that's it, PT Blitz. That's it, Kent Brockman. He's the commentator on the other side. It's hilarious. It's one of season one, I
Yeah.
think that is. That's what people want to see. And if they don't see that, then they're not entertained. It's as simple
True.
as.
So I think with that I can actually recommend a stream that I did this season would be on the Asia server, Second Guild Series GB. It was very entertaining. I think it is probably one of the best day I've ever streamed in history. To be honest, it was very entertaining, and I mean, think there was a team which performed really well, but then the team that was like was struggling came back really well in the end and actually won the group in the end. So it was top notch stuff, and I really recommend you to watch that stream. I think it was on the second day of the
Okay, I'll
second
look
Go
at that.
series. It was
I'll look at that.
yeah, it was
Because
very
that's what
entertaining.
people.
Yeah.
That's the thing that is going to make people come and watch. They want to. They
Yeah,
want to
true.
be entertained. And when you do
Yeah.
the interviews, because I did a couple of interviews for spring season, and
Yeah.
people want to put names to these voices or voices to these names, and they want to
Yeah.
they want to hear from the pro players. They want to experience that. They want to
Hmm.
know stuff like this, and sometimes I don't know. Sometimes they're just unreachable and unapproachable, and it's not a good thing, realistically.
Yeah.
Because as I said, like all entertainment, as they say in theatre, it's bums on seats, lovey, bums on seats. That's
Hmm.
what it's all about. You've got to get people through the door to watch. And this is why, it's like I was having this discussion with somebody the other day. And it's the same with YouTube. It's the same with, in fact, it was, I did a podcast with Moroni FM the other day, which is Hassamat and, I forgot his name, awfully sorry. And it went up the other day. And it was great to do. And it's the same there. I said to them, there comes a point in time where I can understand why newer YouTubers go into the drama and the negativity, because it gets them quick views very quickly. Because a lot of people want the negativity and they want the drama, because people feed off it. We feed off negativity and drama. To be fair, you know, it's very rare that we as individuals feed off positivity. If you look at YouTube, you will find more videos related to drama and negativity than anything else, and that's not just Blitz related. You know, just for your own curiosity, look at for the likes of CNN or Fox, and you'll see the contrast there. You know, they are both very focused on negativity, and their views are massive, and we seem to feed off it for some reason. I don't know why. So a new up and coming YouTuber, and don't forget, Blitz is one of those strange, quirky things that every man and his dog has a YouTube channel dedicated to Blitz. So anybody who actually plays the damn game has got a YouTube channel somewhere. So we have a lot of YouTube channels related to the game, and it's very difficult to break in. And the easiest way to break in is drama and negativity, and that means that you get stuck in a loop eventually, where you have to keep doing drama and negativity to keep your fans coming back. Okay? And then when you start getting to the upper echelons of the bigger YouTubers, and this was the issue I had with the thing earlier, with the crate. You get to that position, and all of a sudden, it becomes about you, okay? And it becomes about, I don't care what anybody else says. It's me, because I need all the views and I need all the subs because I have an agenda. My agenda is I want to earn money. And you start giving people not what they need, but what they want, okay? Whereas I was saying to Moroni FM, I'm so small as a YouTuber, I can actually do videos on what I think people need rather than what they want. Now that's not going to get me a lot of views, and it's certainly not going to get me a lot of subscribers. But it allows me, I don't earn from this. I don't earn from YouTube. So I'm not in that situation whereby I'm constantly thinking, I've got to get views, I've got to get views, I've got to get views, so I've got to do something that's going to get me views. And it's you know, it's a strange scenario to be in, to be fair. And it's like everything. All we're doing is, all YouTubers do is entertain. That's all they do. That's all they do. So anyway, yes, I do remember you, Ollie Boss. How you doing, mate?
Yeah.
I don't know, Mako, is the honest answer. But I think we as a species are probably more negative than positive. I mean, it's certainly the case with Westerners. I don't know. I find Asians more. I'll be fair, because I've worked a lot in Asia. I find Asians more positive than negative, funnily enough. To be honest with you, but I find Westerners particularly very, very. It's easier in the West that you know, you can take this from working environments. You'll find it easier for people to scream and shout at you and tell you off than to give you a positive word. You know, so if you do something wrong at work, it's easy for your boss to turn around and say, well, you fucked up there, you made a mistake, and that's just terrible, and you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. But if you do something, you know, maybe not amazingly right, but not, let's just say you don't fuck up, your boss doesn't come to you and say, well done, you didn't fuck up today. Well done. So, you know, we just find it easier to be negative than we do to be positive for some strange unknown reason. But that's just life.
Yeah.
It's just the world we live in.
Yeah, I think it's quite serious in where I come from Asia as well. So I could understand that. That people are often more negative than positive.
I've seen it the other way around, because I've worked in Thailand, Cambodia, and places like that, And I generally find that the people
Yeah.
there are more positive than negative. Um,
I think it actually also depends on. I don't think it depend on continent, but probably depends on which country. Because, for example, Hong Kong people are very negative, um,
hmm.
so that's that. I think Japan is. I don't know about Japan, but kind of on the surface, they seem to be quite nice. But I don't know.
Well,
I think I
I've been
heard
to
that South
Japan.
Korea
I've
is
been to
yeah
Japan, and they're quite a
yeah.
positive bunch. The ones I've met and the ones I know, and the Koreans, I
Yeah.
know a lot of Koreans, and they're quite a positive bunch as well. The ones I've worked with.
Mm.
I mean, I've worked with some of the big Korean companies over here in the UAE. I've been to Korea quite a few times, and it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
Japan is a very crazy place. So
Mm.
I'm English, and I used to commute on the train to London.
Mhm.
And it used to be like an hour and 30 minutes from Worcester to London on the train, and
Mm.
it was always late. It was late picking me up, and it was late getting into London. Simple fact. And we're talking anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour. It could be that wide, along with infamous things like the wrong leaves on the track and all that sort of bullshit. Well, I got on the bullet train in Japan, going to Tokyo from Kyoto, and it was 20 seconds late. 20 seconds. 20
Mhm.
seconds late pulling out of the station. And they came on the tannoy on the train as it was pulling out the station. We humbly apologise for the lateness of this train. We are so sorry that this is an inconvenience and delayed your journey. I was like, what, really? Seriously? We're 20 seconds late? It's unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean, but they were quite nice about it. And in England, I, it's, ah, it's craziness.
I
Craziness.
know. I know.
And so I just find that, and I see it in the game. In the game, I
Yeah.
see a lot more people saying this guy's a noob. That it's like, okay, yesterday I was testing a tank, and I'm testing the Polish tank, yeah, the tier 10, the 60
Yeah.
TP, and I had a guy rip into me the entire game. Okay, literally rip into me, saying, move, do this, do this. Why are you camping? I wasn't camping, by the way. I can't show you the replay because it's not allowed. But he was basically having a go at me the entire game, saying I was a useless player. Not only did I do top damage, which I can't specify, but I got a mastery. And this guy was the second to die. And he never once came back to me and said, oh, by the way, well done. Thank you for that. Thank you for carrying the team, blah, blah, blah. He didn't come back and say that. But he was the player was very quick to obviously criticise me. And I see this a lot in this game, whereby it's very easy for everybody to turn around and moan. And it's not so easy for somebody to say, well played. And I did a video on that the other day, saying, before I started moving house, saying that, if you really are a 60% win rate player, and you really are a good player, then step up to the bat. Step up to that plate, guys. Start telling your team where to go and what to do. If they don't go where you're telling them, they don't do what you're asking them, then that's their problem. But I see a lot of these top players do nothing, and then bitch and moan afterwards, as if we've all got some telepathic ability to know what everybody else is thinking. We don't. We just don't know that. So step up to the plate and start helping your team. And you know what? I've been doing that over the last few games, and it's really paid off. It really does pay off. So
Yeah.
positivity is better for us, to be fair.
True. I agree with that. And I think, as you said about Asia being more positive, I think in this game as well, I do see like Asia server being less prone to dramas. But I mean, they still have a fair share of dramas actually. But in general, I think the community is more positive than NA and EU.
Uh, There's drama everywhere, and that's the thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's drama
there is
everywhere.
drama everywhere.
True. Yeah.
But there seems to be a lot more drama on EU and Not so much on NA, but there is drama on NA. But there seems to be a lot
Yep.
more drama on EU. What I found
Yes.
recently on NA is it's surreal. I mean, I jumped into a game, and before we even started, I had a player telling me that his manhood was incredibly small. Yeah,
I feel sorry.
yeah, so do I. But I didn't really need to know this information in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
It was not.
true.
It was not important for my gameplay
Yes.
to know that he only had a small one. It's not important to me. It makes no difference.
Oh god.
You know, we all have these
And
crosses
it's
to bear,
not.
so.
And it's not all about that thing. I mean, people will be too superficial to judge a person based on that.
This is true, but it was strange because it was for the entire game, and he was in an E75 and I was in a Tiger 2, which kind of made me think he had problems. But this is the thing that I'm finding. I mean, I see. Okay, look, guys. There's a lot of kids playing the game now. Let's not kid ourselves. No pun intended. And they come out with nonsense. Of course they do. You know,
Yes.
they come out with silly remarks. Like all of a sudden the N word is like the thing to use wherever you can nowadays. Or variations of it. So it's no longer the N word. I've seen some guy, it may have been a typo, but he said it like 4 times. Replace the N with a Z. And I thought he was talking about zips. I thought he was calling people zippers, but he wasn't.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was very bizarre indeed.
Yeah, it was.
But
It was really
you know,
weird.
you're going to get that, and you're going to get kids playing the game because it is a game. And kids are always
Mhm.
going to play a game, and again, we can't sit there and be elitist about this, thinking that only a certain demographic is going to play. Because Tommy D said there, I mean, he's 60, I'm pushing 50. I mean, if you start saying that only a certain age group can play the game, then I'm probably not going to be playing the game, nor's Tommy D, etc., etc. And that's not right. Admittedly, there is an age limit for this game. You're meant to be 12. It used to be 13, but it's been dropped to 12 years. But 12-year-olds, a lot of them are not mature.
Obviously not. I mean, not even the 18-year-old could be considered mature.
No, there is that as
in
well. There is that as
quite a
well.
lot,
But that's
quite a lot of cases too.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Hang on a minute. But Mako, I mean, that's my philosophy. I mean, I like this game because you get to drive tanks and blow shit up, and that's all that interests me.
I play this game because peer pressure, pretty much, to be honest with you. But
You know, there's nothing more relaxing
that's why I'm here.
than blowing tanks and blowing stuff up. There seriously isn't. There seriously isn't. And I don't understand. I mean, you have to appreciate that drama is there to generate. This is the thing that annoys me. Okay, so some things annoy me in life, which is, I mean, the spat I had. I didn't have a spat with the individual, funnily enough. I had a spat over a video. Lost me a lot of subscribers. And everybody's coming to me saying I'm picking on that particular person, well, which is bullshit anyway. But anyway, my point was this. Everybody has an agenda, okay? So if you want to go down the road of saying this person is a CC, thereby he has an agenda because he's got to stay on the side of wargaming, well, that's bullshit. Because if you've got 50-odd thousand subscribers, you've got an agenda to keep your 50-odd thousand subscribers and all your views because you earn money from it. Everybody has an agenda. You know, what is it what is it the Joker says in The Dark Knight? Everybody has an agenda. Except the Joker, he has no agenda, but he has an agenda. Everybody has an agenda, and this is the thing. But but drama brings bullshit into the game. Hello, Matthew. How you doing? Level 2, mate. I'm a 49-year-old man-child. Seriously, I mean, this is how bad of a man-child I am. So I'm still unpacking shit, and there is my Millennium Falcon. And there is my AT-AT. And there are some other bits and bobs. So everybody is a man-child somewhere. Oh, and now you can't see me because I've just completely buggered the webcam up. Sorry about that. Webcam is now completely bugged. So nothing wrong with being a man-child. I don't think there is. And those are the first things that went up on my shelves. So everybody's, you're entitled to be a geek and a man-child. Why not? It's all good fun. But it's just a game. Just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So Treadhead C, in order to compensate for his small PP, he's going to run the 183. So there you go. I don't blame you, mate. I don't like the 183.
Oh, me neither. It's probably the worst tier 10.
I hate it. I absolutely hate the 183 with a passion. With a passion.
Yeah.
Stahlfalker, how are you doing? No, mate, I've got my models. My modelling table is still in the process of being set up. MJ Gamer, how you doing, mate? So that's all. That's still in the process of happening. But nice. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be something happens to make everything settle down. Ashman. So your clan tag is oh my god. For old married guys, not oh my god. Brilliant. That's great, man. Oh dearie me. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how the summer championships go. That's next week, I believe, isn't it? Although I wasn't able...
Yes, it's next week, yeah.
Although, were you able to input anything?
No, I think it's locked. I have
Yeah.
a feeling that certain streamers will be asked first, and then their names will be put there, and then we'll be able to put our names after.
We've got... I didn't realise we now have 4 streamers on Asia. Wow.
But I'm a bit worried there as well because I think none of the names there are doing it in English, which I have to
Really? None of them are English?
Yeah, none of them are doing it in English. So I think I have to tell it to Wargaming that might be better if there is at least one English streamer.
Possibly, yeah. I think it would be.
Yeah, because they're also giving away. Well, I'm not sure, but according to what I'm informed. So I think it might be better if it's an English streamer, so that a lot of things will be a lot easier.
Yeah, make it certain better. So I've been asked here, what are my thoughts on the meta changes coming to the heavies? Well, they're deserved. I'll be honest with you, I always thought the mouse was given too many hit points. To be fair, I mean, 3,000 base, knocking it up to 3,000 whatever it is if you add the additionals. The equipment load is a bit too much, so bringing it down to 2,800 and bringing it back up to 3,000 if you add the additionals is more than reasonable. Dropping some of the turret turns on things like the Crown Wagon and stuff. I don't think it's gonna. I mean, one of the problems we've got at the moment, and if you're just looking at it from the clan wars side, it's a very heavy dominated meta. To be honest with you. It's very rare that the clans are running multiple mediums. They're normally running at least 4 heavies, if not more. And it's going to be E5s, IS4s or Crown Wagons. And depending on the map, maybe a mouse in a 50B. So TDs very rarely make a showing anymore unless it's very map dependent. And then the mediums that you're seeing, probably T22, T62A if you're lucky, Leo 1 if you're lucky, but very rarely dominant medium wise, when it used to be more mediums, yeah. And
yeah,
the whole idea of the game, The reason, the whole idea of the game is you're meant to have a few heavies, okay, and majority of your tanks are meant to be actually medium. That's what happened in real life. They didn't have a lot of heavies, so in real life, and nowadays all tanks are basically heavy tanks. So you have to look back to sort of World War II, and in real life in World War II, when the likes of the German army, who had a lot of heavy tanks, medium tanks, etc., rolled out, they had more medium tanks than heavy tanks. They didn't have like shed loads of heavy tanks. So changing the meta to make it more heavy dependent changed the actual parameters of the game somewhat. So they had to do it because the mediums were just making a mockery of the heavies back in those days, because the mediums were just too powerful. So giving the heavies the HP, the additional HP, if you're a really good medium player, then you're going to farm away anyway to your heart's content, which is the idea of a medium. But there's more HP to get through now, and it gives the heavies a bit more chance. And bringing down, and it's only a few heavy tanks that are getting this sort of adjustment. It's not all of them. And you'll find it's the tanks that players rely on a lot in the tournaments, like the Mouse, like the IS-4, the Kranwagen, and the E5. So the E5's having its turret rotation sort of tinkered with, Kranwagen as well, IS-4. This is not bad. These are good ideas. I don't understand. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it is. Thank you, Stal Falco, for saying it was a good pack. I enjoyed doing that, man. It was really good. So I think it'll be good.
I think it will be a. I think it's a welcoming change. I think, especially for Clan Wars, too many heavies, too reliant on heavies nowadays. I think Happy will be very happy, but but for me, I would rather have more mediums and even TDs on the battlefield, because they require a lot more, a lot more experience and personal skills, and and even more teamwork as well. So so I think the overall the I think I prefer that style more. Like, it's more about decision making at the time, rather than kind of like being very defensive and kind of, I don't know what to say about this, but yeah.
That's very true stuff, Alka. You're right. Even when we had more medium focus meta, the amount of mediums used in Clan Wars wasn't too different. With the exception of we didn't have so many E5s, to be fair, because the E5 wasn't particularly brilliant. And then they gave it... I mean, one of the things... Look, if I'm being honest, tinkering with the meta is one thing. And the other thing they're tinkering with regards to the Kranwagen... isn't the Kranwagen? Definitely the E5, is the super duper consumable. Because that is the thing that's killed. That's the thing that's changed the tanks more than the HP buff. I'll guarantee you that for a fact. I mean, I don't even run, for example, adrenaline on my E5. Because you don't need it. So I don't need that super boost to get my reload time down, because the E5 reload time is good enough anyway. Same with the 215B. You don't need that. So I can get away of running 2 repair kits and the super duper speed boost. The super duper speed boost, it just makes the tank mad, seriously mad. And I was never a big fan of them, I'll be honest with you. Reactive armor and sandbag armor I don't mind, I'll be fair, because that stuff exists in real life. But what's super duper speed boost? I mean, there's the speed boost, which is, I don't know, maybe they're putting nitro in the engine. But what's the super duper speed boost? Is it like a specially refined nitro? It just makes no sense. I've never understood why they brought in the super duper speed boost to turn a heavy tank into a medium tank. Or even a TD. I mean, okay, now you've got it on the T95. The T95 now is a real pain in the arse tank. It's borderline broken with that speed boost. Because go back before you had this super duper speed boost. The T95 was notoriously awful mobility wise because it's big and it's cumbersome and it's wide and it's got a shit turning circle. And it has got a great gun and a shed load of armour. And that was the glorious thing about the T95. Okay? The glorious thing about it was big, it was bulky, it was well armoured with a good gun. But it was shit at mobility. But that wasn't the idea behind it. Now, you drop the super duper speed boost and its turning circle is like really cool. True treadhead, nitrous oxide does exist, but that's the speed boost. So what's the super duper speed boost? Is that like a super duper nitrous oxide? I don't get it. So I've never been a big fan of that super duper speed boost, to be perfectly honest with you. I agree with you there, MJ. The consumables did make the E5 broken, especially in Clan Wars. Yes, it did. And that's the thing. It changed a heavy tank into a medium tank. And it basically made the pattern redundant. The E5 has made the pattern redundant, which is why not hardly anybody plays it. What do you think, Jack? Have you played the pattern recently?
Pattern,
Yeah.
kind of. I think it's an okay tank. I actually like all the mediums. Don't think any one of them is like bad. I don't think maybe the 30B, but I think even the 30B is not very bad. So I think pattern it's okay. It's not very good, but it's not very bad either.
Yeah, but if I gave you two tanks to play, a
Yeah,
pattern or an
yeah,
E5, you take the E5
mm,
because you can do you can
yeah,
do better things similar to a pattern in an E5 with additional with additional hit points, and
yeah,
you know, because you've still got a super duper speed boost, you can still like smash it through the battlefield and play it like a medium if you really wanted to, and it sort of makes that
yeah.
pattern. No, I'm not trash talking Ishtar. I love the pattern. Funnily enough, I think it's a great tank. I think it's a beautiful tank. It's an amazing tank. But if you're not, you know, a player who's interested in certain things like clan wars, etc., etc., there is absolutely no reason for you to get the pattern. Just get the E5. There's no reason for you to get the pattern if you're a normal player. It's just a tank. You can do the same in a pattern that you can do in an E5 to an extent with the super duper buff. So that's the thing. You're right. It's the same with the M60 MJ. M60 is the same. And when they gave the pattern the E5 that super duper consumable, it changed the tank to, well, it changed it. It did change it, to be fair, and it sort of made it ridiculous. And I know what they did it, and it's who said it. Yeah, Stauffacher said it. It's easier for wargaming to give these tanks, and they did it for the British line. That was the prime reason, because players don't like playing the British tanks, especially in the higher tiers. And the reason for that is because they're difficult tanks. Okay, they're what I term finesse tanks. The FV4202 is a very difficult tank, even with, especially because it hasn't really got any armor and it takes skill to play it. The 215B is a great tank, solid when it's hauled down, but again, you know, it takes a little bit of skill to play it. And it's the same with the FV4005, you know, it takes a bit of skill to play it, etc., etc. So they brought it because people weren't playing those tanks. They were struggling in those tanks. So they brought these consumables in to help it. So, and then they thought, oh, well, this is a great idea. We've managed to buff these British tanks by doing nothing other than add consumable. So let's buff the others and add a consumable to them too. And it made a mockery out of it, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Kranwagen with a reticle calibration shouldn't exist. But then again, I mean, that's like saying, should we have? It is one for you, Jack. I know you're not a TD player. Should we have the spore liner on the waffle tractor, in the grill, in real terms?
Yes, I think so. Yes,
Why?
because like the HE shell is just doing a bit too much to those tanks, and
But they are paper thin.
yeah, I don't
That's the
know.
whole idea.
Yeah, yeah, true. But yeah, but at the same time, I don't know what to say. But I actually don't have a lot of bad feelings about Spallline. I think it's a decent one. It's a decent call, but
I mean, the grill. I feel sorry for the grill,
and
to be fair, because the grill used to have a super duper gun, and then its gun got nerfed, and it's not really been the same tank ever since. And it's always been easy to wreck it with HE. Of course it has, but that was the thing about these tanks, because those sort of tanks, they're just, well, I mean, you can see what they are. I mean, it's just a piece of metal. It's not armored. Realistically, the plating that sits on the gun, I mean, it's just a piece of metal. This it's just basically a pack gun stuck on top of a Panzer IV, which is the waffle tractor, and the shield isn't armored like a tank, because it's not really a tank. These are self-propelled guns, not really tanks. And it's the same with the grill. I mean, the grill is not really a tank as such. It's a self-propelled gun. And again, you know, this shield for the gun is only meant to offer protection for small arms, guns basically, you know, machine guns and pistols and stuff. Hence the reason why they were easy to go through with HE. Now, maybe, and this is okay, it would have been harder for them to do this. Maybe they should have made the hit skin a bit different. So on the hull, HE would only do splash damage, but if you hit the basically armored guards protection around the gun, then the HE will go through it. Yeah, and that would have been better, because I think the profile is a bit wrong, because you can hit HE virtually most of these tanks, the waffle tractor and the grill, and it will rip it apart. Which is why I understand the spore liners in there. But don't forget, I mean, the spore liner, by reducing the ability of the HE, sort of defeats the object of, because these tanks have got no armor. That's the thing. They have no armor.
yeah. But I also think that the introduction of Spalliner would encourage the players to look for more tanks without a Spalliner to fire HE on. For example, the backsides of some medium tanks.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, in real life, and I know this is not a tank sim, but again, the rear of tanks are weak as heck. I mean, they're just pieces of metal designed just to keep the engine in place. They're not there for protection. The only thing, when they design tanks, they put all the protection at the front, obviously, because that's where you're meant to go. You're meant to be the front. Which is why it's the way it is. Which is why the sides of tanks and the rears of tanks can be HE'd, especially the medium tanks like the T62A and the T54 and the WZ121. You stick an HE up the back of them, then yeah, they're gonna have a bad day. And it's the same with the American tanks, because the rear of the American tanks is actually the engine exhausts. So they're always prone to be hitting with heat, because there's no armor there, zero armor. And I get that and I understand that, but that's part and parcel of the game, yeah. And whilst it's not a tank sim, it's a realistic game mode. Okay, it's meant to be. It's not an arcade game fantasy, basically, to an extent. It's meant to be realistic, which is why the tanks that we have in the game most of them are based on real tanks. and this is the thing. I mean, when you start adding things that you wouldn't get in real life to these tanks, then it becomes a problem. Now, if you look at the back of the Jagdtiger here, yes, the exhausts are here, but that is armoured, and you can't HE it. Now, the thing you want to know about German tanks, if you hit this bottom plate here, well, generally they have their gearbox in running gear here, which is why you get engine fires when you hit them in the front, by the way. That's why you get an engine fire on most German tanks like the Tigers. If you hit this bottom plate, there's a big, basically, you see these two turrets, you got a gunner here and a driver, and in between them, because the drive sprockets join up here to a transmission, and it runs down past the driver and the gunner. That's why you get engine fires when you hit this part of the tank, because even though the engine predominantly is actually in the back, in the German tanks, this engine deck was pretty nicely armoured, funnily enough. But the front bottom plate was never that armoured. This is why we get the engine fires. So if you're going to have this realistic, don't forget, when World of Tanks Blitz in World of Tanks PC first came out, they were modelling their tanks on what they were seeing in Kubinka and in other tank museums. So the armour thicknesses are pretty accurate. Yeah, I mean, obviously real tanks don't have hit points, and it takes a long time to change the tracks when you break them and stuff like this. But a lot of what we got was modelled on the real deal. What we now get is bullshit consumables that nobody would have had. Like, as I said, this super duper speed boost, which, you know, I get the normal speed boost, but I don't understand the super duper one, to be honest with you. Just don't get it. But yeah, I mean, the spool liner, you know, it's arguable. I mean, MJ here is saying basically that it used to be, and Stauffacher is saying basically, I mean, and I agree with this, the Waffle was probably the best tier 10. And with the spool liner, it's made it even more impressive. I mean, the tank is a beast at the best of times. It's now a bigger beast because it's harder to kill it. Although, saying that, I've come across a lot of people who don't run the spool liner. More fool them, silly billies. If you've got a grill in a Waffle Traeger, there's no excuse for not running a spool liner. Seriously. Yeah, there's that as well, Ajman. You should probably should reduce the speed for the additional weight. No, you're right though, MJ. Adding the weight won't change the fact that now your ammunition is being reduced. What is it? It's 20%, isn't it? Spool liner reduce it for 20%. Minus 20% to damage from HE shells. Yeah. So there you go. But we're still not seeing a majority of TDs in the in tournaments. Let's be honest. Still not making a showing, which is a shame. But yeah, that's one of many things. There's other things they're doing as well. Yeah, excuse my yawn. It's been a long week. So the other things they're doing are they're balancing. So yeah, so the improved engine boost will only give 40% of the engine power, 5% to turn rate, and 5 kilometers forward. The IS-4, the Kranwagen will lose 150 HP and a through degree. Yeah, that's fine. The 215B and the E5 will shoot less frequently. That makes sense because, as I said, I don't run either of those tanks with adrenaline. I don't run either of those with adrenaline because I don't see any requirement to. The mouse is losing HP. It will go down to 2,850 without the equipment, and the accuracy of the gun, which was never a good gun anyway, will become a little worse. It's always been a shit gun. So that's not really changing anything. The 48 pattern and the M60 will shoot faster and penetrate a little more often. See, This is what I was saying. I mean, there's no point having an M60 or a 48 pattern when you've got an E5. So reducing the E5's reload time and allowing the 48 pattern in the M60 to reload faster is actually quite a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Yeah, I think all these are quite good. All these are tinkerings that they need to do to make them more balanced. I think I don't. Oh, excuse me. I don't see the problem with any of those. In fact, it'd be interesting to see how the player base takes it, because a lot of these things were introduced to begin with because the player base was struggling. So. Lots and lots of clippers. Well, yeah, but we are seeing lots and lots of clippers anyway, aren't we? What do you think on that, Jack? Do you think we're going to see more clippers in Clan Wars?
Obviously, yes, because it has been really effective. But I don't know about the nerf with Crown Fugit though. That could be a problem. But we will see more M60 for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. But I mean, they're not touching the 50B and the 57 heavy. I mean, I can see more. I can see 50Bs being rolled out more. I mean, the Kranvagen at the moment is strong. It's a strong tank, and in the right hands in Clan Wars, and if you run up two of them, it's a really strong pairing, because with their auto reloaders, and with their super duper speed boosts, and with their impressive turret armor, because their turret armor is impressive. I mean, the 50B is a monster of a tank, don't get me wrong, but its turret armor is seriously non-existent, isn't it? And that's the thing about the 50B. It's strong where it needs to be, but it also has a weakness. Whereas the Kranvagen, the weakness of the Kranvagen was meant to be its mobility and its lower hull. That's meant to be its weakness. Well, if you've got a super duper speed boost, then mobility suddenly doesn't have it, does it? No, it didn't get an armor buff, Stahlfalker. It didn't get an armor buff. It just had its hit skin updated to reflect more correctly. There was no buff on the 50B. I'm serious. No buff on the 50B. And I actually spoke to Wargaming on this point as well. There was no buff to the 50B, and there was no buff to the there was no nerf to the E4 or E3, despite everybody talking about it. It never happened. Yeah, it was just the hit skins. That's all it was. So when they did the open test, because what they were trying to do, they noticed that in the open test, the hit skins in the current version were not showing correctly the profile on the 50B. So they changed the hit skin, and it makes it look like it's got more armor when actually it hasn't got any armor. Oh, Elysium's a moron. Come on, you know this. Elysium's just been watching Panterfleet and Droodles too much, because they were absolutely adamant it was getting a buff. It's not got a buff. It's not got a buff. Not in any way, shape, or form. It's just had its hit skin changed. That's all. As I said, the E3 and the E4 didn't get a nerf, and that was the other thing. Yeah, exactly, MJ. Everybody was having a hissy fit thinking that the Cupola was going to be nerfed on the E3. It's not been nerfed, guys. It's still pretty difficult to pen the bloody thing. But it is still the weakest part of the frontal armour of that tank, apart from the lower plate, of course. But that's the point. But that's the whole idea of the E3. The whole idea of the E3 is meant to be slow and lumbering with massive solid frontal armour. And the idea is that the mediums and the lights are meant to get round the side and the back of it and farm the bejesus out of the damn thing. And that's what they're meant to do. But, sometimes the newer players don't know what role their tank is meant to play. I'll give you an example. I played on, you'll love this. So I played the other day on Rockfield. The entire team except one player went to the C cap. The entire team. And in that team we had 3 heavies, 2 mediums, a light, and a TD. And everybody went to the C cap apart from one. And the one that didn't go to the C cap went to the A cap. That's right, it was the Jaegeroo. And then he decided to flank around the back of everybody. And then scratched his head when he scored a 0. We won, but we scored a 0. Because he was nowhere near the battle. Nowhere near the battle. Now the idea of a TD is you're meant to sort of be just behind your front line, shooting the tanks in front of you. So being over the other side of the map is just not effective. Not really.
Not all TDs though. Not all TDs though.
That's true.
Emphasize. Some TDs are not TDs, basically.
That is true. Some TDs are not TDs. That is very true. That is very true. But when you've got a TD like a Jaegeroo, which has got a very good gun and insane armor in real terms, and then camping miles away from the battle is not the idea behind that tank. It's just not. It's the same with the Foch in the 268. Those tanks are not meant to be out in the middle of nowhere on their own as such. They're meant to be overseeing. They're not meant to be in the middle of it on the front line, don't get me wrong. But they're meant to be overseeing the battle, so to speak. Whereas the likes of the Grill in the Waffle Tractor, real terms, they're meant to be the ones sniping. They're meant to be the ones hitting, then running away, relocating, hitting again. The E50M is getting a bit of a buff, actually. Lost my hit points. It is getting, yeah, I played it earlier. It's getting a buff. It's, what's the 50? It's getting but it's only getting a cross-terrain ability and reload time. So it's going to have better mobility going across things and a better reload time. I don't think it actually needed a reload buff, to be fair. I mean, again, I think the 50M is a pretty solid tank, to be honest. I mean, I've never really thought there was a problem with it. What about you, Jack? You're a medium player.
Yes. What do you want?
The E50M, do you think it needed a buff? I don't think it did.
No. I think it's good as it is.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think it needed a buff at all, but it's got a buff.
I don't think any mediums didn't really need a buff. I don't think there is a need to buff any medium, to be honest.
No, I don't think that. Well, I mean, the FV4202 maybe it did need a little bit of mobility buff, maybe.
Mobility, I think, is fine. But I think it's really good mobility-wise. I don't think it's a problem at all. So I think that buff is a little bit unnecessary.
Possibly. I mean, I understand, as I said earlier, the 48 and the M60, because that then, like I said earlier, it removes it removes this gap that the E5 is sort of made for itself. So by reducing, nerfing the reload time on the E5 and buffing it on the 48 and the 60, that makes sense to me. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think they have buffed M60 and M48 a couple of times, but they couldn't seem to make it balanced in a way that more people will play it and play it well.
It's not just that. It's back to why would you need it? I mean, you've now got the E5, which has got better armor, similar gun, better gun in fact, and pretty good reload to the point you don't need adrenaline, and you're a heavy tank, which means you've got more hit points. So, and you've got a super duper booster, which means you can go as fast as a medium tank. So why do you need the 48 or the 60? So what they did previously, they buffed the turret armor on both the mediums to try and bring it in line with the E5. But
I think they're pretty good already. So
yeah, but again,
I mean the cheats.
But the problem they've got is this super duper consumable on the E5. It doesn't need it.
Get
rid of it. You don't need the super duper consumable. Not on the E5. You don't need it. So yeah, but no, the American mediums are getting buffs, Mako. So that's the thing. I mean, if you removed it, you don't need to then start tinkering with other things. But they're not going to remove it, to be fair. Anyway, I'm going to start wrapping it up, guys. And you notice I didn't once talk about this Cryptos code, and there's a reason, because I have no idea what it's about. I just don't get it. I haven't watched the video. I haven't had time, so I have no idea what you have to do. I don't understand what you have to do, to be perfectly honest. You need things. And I've got 20 of these cheese things, but they're not cheeses. They look like cheese, but they're not. And I've got 58 of these rotary things. And I've got some code things. But I don't know what I'm meant to do with it. It's the reason why I didn't talk out. Roy, what's happened, Robin? Jack, you'll like this one. So Robin said, Fugit, please help or reach out to Happy on Blitz because the drama for such a small game is getting ridiculous. So, drama gets views, Robin, to be fair. It gets views. And you know, drama gets you more views and drama gets you more subscribers. It's as simple as that. So, yeah. To be fair to Happy, I did chat with him a long time ago. We had a very, very, very public falling out on stream. And he did stop doing his drama, to be fair. And I told him back then, he was very good at doing these videos showing people certain hints and tips and stuff, and he's gone back to doing that, is my understanding. You know, that's why his base is growing, and fair play to the guy for doing that. He's still going to rage in his streams, of course he is, because that's, as I said earlier, when you get to a certain point in YouTube, you start giving the audience what they want, not what they need. And he's playing to his audience, simple as that. And you can't blame him for that. And it's the same with Pantu. They play to their audience, to be fair. They do play to their audience. And fair play to them for doing that. And generally I don't have issues with anybody doing that. I don't have issues with any YouTuber until they cross a line. And I got very upset with Pantu with his birthday crate video because he crossed a line by effectively telling people not to subscribe to any other YouTuber except him, which upset me because that's not fair in any way, shape or form. And that's just, you know, that's just the way it goes. But generally I don't have an issue with any YouTuber. So he's blaming Littlefinger for stealing his thumbnails. Oh, that happens a lot. That happens a lot, Robin. You know, there's been talk that Droodles lifts his thumbnails from Quickie Baby. So, and again, it's, you know, people will do things to entice people. It's, you know, the thumbnail is what entices. So you just never know, guys. You just never know. So I mean, thumbnails are thumbnails. I mean, my thumbnails are pretty crap. To be honest with you, I'm not a super duper thumbnail guy. I just generally just take a picture of the tank, put some words on it, and stick it out there. To be honest, I've never been a great designer of any shape or form. But we will see. But yeah, it happens a lot. It's like there used to be, I'm not going to mention their names, there used to be two well-known YouTubers basically shouting at each other because content copying, okay? So one YouTuber will release a video, then a day later the next YouTuber will release a video that was pretty similar. And the thing is, I've said this a lot, you know, it's pretty, you know, when you've got so many people doing YouTube Blitz now, okay, and they release a tank. Let's say they've just released this, whatever it's called, this new French tank. What was it called? The Suma or whatever it is. Okay, so you got the Suma or whatever. Then you've got, let's say you've got 10 Blitz YouTubers. Well, you're going to get 10 bloody replays on the same thing. To be fair, 10 replays, 10 videos on a tank. Is that copying? You know, it's always going to happen, guys. It's always going to happen. Unless, of course, you're someone like Angal or World of Tanks Blitz Joe, or what's his name, World of Tanks Blitz Joe, who don't do your normal run-of-the-mill Blitz stuff. They do the sort of meme, funny videos.
Angal, yes.
Yeah. So they generally don't copy anybody because they do their own thing. So it's a little bit different. And it's the same with, to an extent, Mighty Noob. He's similar as well. So, and Soft Rescue. So these guys are a little bit different. But when you're doing reviews and stuff like that, you're going to get similar content. You are going to get similar content. So, but I'll have a look at it. It's odd you should just mention that. I've just had a message from Happy on a similar situation. So I'm going to have a look at that. And on that, let's not go into the drama, which we said we were never going to do. Well, we're always going to do it. Blitz is not Blitz without drama. Come on. It's a game that seems to be embroiled with more drama than gameplay. Don't ask me why. It's just the way this game works. It seems to, well, we all know why it's there. It's there to agendas, guys. Agendas. Everybody's got an agenda. Let me have a look, see what's going down. So before I go, anybody else got anything they want to add in? Anything they want to jump on? Any questions they want to ask before we knock it on their head? Absolutely, all the replays are the same. Okay, well, it's pretty much, yeah, okay, I can see where that's coming from. Yeah, I can see where the aggro, oh, actually, yeah, I can really see where the aggro is coming from. Yeah, I must admit they are pretty similar, but it's all a question of who came first. That's okay, Robin. I'll see what I can do. But they are. I mean, I'm looking at. You're right. I'm looking at the community post, and I mean, a thumbnail is a thumbnail. What do you want my toenail? But they are. I mean, they are pretty similar thumbs. To be fair, they are. But it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt. Not really. And it all depends now whose video came out first. There is the question. There is the big question. Who hit first? So you have to be careful, man. But as I said, I mean, I'm not particularly great. I'm not particularly great with thumbnails. So nobody can ever accuse me of stealing, and nobody's ever going to steal mine. So that's even better. And with that bombshell, I think we'll leave it there. And yeah, Robin, I will. I'll have a chat with the with people. See what we can.
Oh,
See if we
Cloud
can-
Falcon is here.
Oh, there you go. Hey, comes at the end. Like, yeah, there you go. Look. Better late than never. That's what
Yeah,
I say.
I'm always late. I'm sorry.
So we're just about to wrap it up. But before we go, so you listen to the Moroni FM podcast, yeah?
Yes, I did, of course.
And at the end, we're talking about probably getting the guys onto this at some stage, and to have a chat on here as well, to see how that goes. So we'll see. It'll be cool, man. It was really cool. It was a really cool thing to do. I mean, I loved every minute of it. We didn't do many takes actually. I mean, I listened to both the obviously the draft, and then I listened to it when they released it the other day, and they've hardly changed any of it. There's been no sort of editing, realistically, not much editing taking place. They didn't really cut much out or anything like that. It was really cool. We had a great time. I had a great time. I was really chuffed to be invited, and you know, it was such a fun, relaxed evening. Really enjoyed it. Just hope you guys,
Maybe,
just hope
yeah.
the listeners enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe in the future I'll be in part of them as well.
Yeah, they'll probably get round to you as well.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Absolutely.
they invited me, I believe, twice now, and I was sort of sneaking into the podcast for another 2 times because we've got this community server for the German Blitz community, and I became a moderator at some point, and I still don't know why, but I've got access to the channel where they're recording the podcast every week, and I sneaked my way into this channel, and suddenly we were right into recording that podcast.
Oh, excellent. But it's really they're really cool guys. Really laid back. Really good to talk to. They're really chilled, man. It was really nice. I enjoyed every minute.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, you can probably hear it in the podcast. We're just, no holds barred, just talking openly, and we're not trying to sort of put any sort of airs and graces onto anything, and try and tell people, X, Y, and Z. We're just being honest, and that's the glorious thing about those guys. I mean, I do like. I mean, obviously I can only catch the English ones because my German sucks, but I mean, the thing I like about their podcast in the Moroni FM is there is no pretentious behind it at all. It really is just, they speak their mind. They say what they want to say. And it's good in that respect.
Yeah.
It is good in that respect. And I was chuffed. I mean, I was really chuffed when they invited me. I was like, oh man, that would be so cool.
Yeah, and they're covering all the different aspects of Blitz. We had podcast with Clan Wars. We had clans who were invited. We had Rip, who was there multiple times now. And it's every week a new episode I really do enjoy listening to. And speaking of enjoying listening, the most hilarious moment for me from your podcast was when Hasso, who's an NDA CC, asked you, and you're not an NDA CC, what you're thinking about the upcoming changes.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, you know this stuff, but man, poor Darren doesn't know, and it was just hilarious. I had a good laugh, and I believe that's the thing especially in the German community, we don't have too much of it to have this feeling of, being a community. We've got, it's just every clan does its own thing, and we have some we've tried some things to get the clans together, but in the end, everyone has to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't force them to do so, and yeah, in the end, it didn't quite work out. But some clans do have a good relationship since then.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I mean, Rib's done exceptionally well building up his fan base from the German
Definitely,
community.
absolutely.
I mean, he's done fantastic there, and you know the guys Hassamat etc. They're doing fantastic stuff with Moroni FM, and all the guys are doing well. I mean, I don't know, is PS13 still ongoing, isn't it? It's still running around in the corner. I think it is. It's still...
I'm not entirely sure. So they moved the website to World of Tanks WOTB.news. So I believe the PS13 website is still online, but I'm not sure whether it's gonna receive all the news. But yeah, definitely PS13 is still a thing, even though it's not the PS13 Discord server anymore. It's the Blitz community server.
Yeah.
In the podcast is obviously still running, so it's definitely a thing.
But the podcast
and
themselves,
we'll see what the future.
They were telling me that they've got in excess of 3,000 subscribers just for the podcast. I mean that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And you know, like I said, fair play to those guys for building it around the German community. I mean, it's always a great thing.
Yep, definitely.
You know.
As much as I hate the German community, I love it.
That's like all communities, though. They've all got good and bad sides. All of them. It's like football. It's like football. You know, it's like, you know, if you watched the Euros recently, all of a sudden, yet again, I said this: England are going to win, and when they don't win, everybody wants to kill everybody in England who has anything to do with the England football team. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, they're not always going to win, guys. You just give them a lot of expectation. Italy's a tough team. It's just football. There's always going to be a winner and a loser. And it's the same with everything. And you get that. I mean, when I'm doing Clan Wars, I get... Jack, I mean, you do Clan Wars as well from the spectator viewpoint as streamers. And I find that the two most passionate communities are the Polish and the German. And the diehard, the community who absolutely enjoys jumping on board to watch, but they're not as passionate as in they're passionate, but they're not vocal passionate as in they're not, you know, oh, that was a mistake, or this is an error, blah, blah, blah. We're like the Polish and the German community. It's the Finnish community. I mean, the Finnish community, when the Finnish teams are playing, like it used to be Hesop in Win and Winter War, when they were playing, you used to get a lot of people coming in from the Finnish community to watch. And they'll be good as gold. They'd hardly say anything. And then when you're streaming the likes of APA, etc., you get the Polish community come in, and it's a completely different kettle of fish. But they're very passionate supporters, the Polish community. And it's the same with when you're streaming Raid or even yourselves, Falcon do, where you know you're streaming a German team, and the German supporters are very passionate. They're very vocal as well. You know, that was a mistake. Why did he do that? That was silly. And the Polish are the same. It's great. It's great to see how those communities interact. It's brilliant, man. And that's one thing I do like. I do like that about the Clan Wars streaming side, because there are some
Clan Wars.
Yeah, there's some great communities out there. There really are.
Clan Wars brings people together, and now with Corona, with COVID, that's extremely important, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Well,
totally.
Does it bring people together? I have some reservations, but
well,
I do have a lot of reservations with that.
Well, it doesn't. It does and it doesn't. That's the thing, you know. And it's like football. It's like football, and you know, when you've got communities that are very passionate, like the Polish community and the German community, they are passionate. And you say one thing wrong, then they jump on that. and you're the enemy.
Yeah.
But that's because they're passionate
Yeah.
communities.
That's German mentality.
Yeah, I understand that because they're passionate people, and I get it. So, and it's I can't blame them for that. To be honest with you, I think it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a bad thing from a streamer's perspective because we're normally the ones who are seen as the enemy and we get it in the neck. But it's generally not a bad thing because it shows that there is more than just token support. There's an interest in what's going on, and when there's an interest like that, it means that the community over time will just grow. It will get bigger and bigger, and therefore you'll get more views and more people will be interested. And that I haven't got a problem with. It sucks when you get the negativity, and I know, for example, Jack has been on the receiving end of quite a bit of negativity from certain communities, although we don't know which communities they were as such. And that's just people showing their displeasure, which happens, unfortunately. It's childish, it's silly, but they're passionate people. So, but always remember this though, Jack, for every negative downvote, somebody's had to still view your bloody content. If YouTube views a downvote as basically an upvote, YouTube does.
Yeah. I'm not sure, do we have time to talk about the stuff from summer season, or did you already talk about the stuff that was going on?
We spoke about it, yeah. We had a discussion.
I joined in too late. Yeah, I'm sorry. We were cutting.
Usually they are talked about very early in the stream because they are the most.
Oh, all right. We were cutting cars into pieces, and it was great fun. But obviously, I missed the first part of the stream.
So just,
all right. Yeah. So I guess
instead of going back into it in depth, let's just ask, because you're IWC, you're a big clan now on EU. So as what's happened in the summer season with some of the things, has that impacted your clan in the way it progressed?
Absolutely not. And I'll have to be serious here.
That's fair enough.
Because we weren't playing at all. We were playing like 2 or 3 quick tournaments and 1 coin tournament, and that's it. Okay. We've said from day one, after spring season has ended, we won't be playing summer season because we've got less COVID restrictions in Germany. People want to go out and be together with their friends they haven't seen for like a year now. And the summer season is just this a gap filler, I believe, to not have this gigantic gap between spring season and obviously it's not a twister, it's an autumn season. And so I guess it was kind of like, just let those who want to play. We haven't punished anyone who said, I want to leave the clan to play for team XY. But I'm serious, nobody left the clan to play Clan Wars in summer season. I guess we will be back in autumn season.
Okay. Well, I'm expecting most teams to be back in autumn season, to be fair.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. We will have a slightly different team, maybe, but that's still not fixed yet because summer season ain't over, and we won't start planning for something that's that far in the future.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable. It's completely understandable. But it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, but the stuff that happened in summer season, I believe it was just the Wargaming was trying to change the stuff they missed to change in spring season, but in the end it didn't came out too well for them and for the players currently.
That's true.
I saw this gigantic. Yeah, Jack, go on.
I think it's more to do with Wargaming, the decisions during the season rather than before the season. I think
Yeah, I
most
saw
of the issues are
I
during
saw
the
the
season rather than
gigantic
before.
discussion on the official server about the cups getting removed from two teams,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be an interesting one."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So who?
No, go on.
sorry.
Go on.
So yeah. So even if we are going back to the previous skill tournament format, and same thing happened with rules violating stuff and so on, I think I think we're still going to see the same level of drama.
So who's gonna play pro tournament in summer season now?
Top eight. It's going to be Endgame, Loka, Immortals, Jones, APA, A1N1, Kraken Esports, and also let me check. Um, I think it's oh, uh, and also BPS. Yes,
All right. Last time I checked, BPS was in top 16. Apparently they made it. Congrats.
they
So
made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Endgame, Loka, APA, BPS, and A1N1, those are the ones to be expected in top 8.
Mm-hmm.
What surprises me is Kraken Esports.
Well,
But I
but
believe they
they
have
have
Kraken,
help
people from
yeah.
from
Serenity.
yeah, exactly. Um, Immor, yeah, they have a different team every single season, and they somehow manage to get into top 8 every single season. And I believe you've got to congratulate Kuga for doing so, because with a different team every single season becoming top 8, yeah, that's something you'll have to do.
Well, but
Um,
they were pretty much like from
Joe,
Rec of last season and So's as well. I think a lot of them were from So you
Eric's
can't
there, isn't
expect
he?
them
all
to.
right,
Emilio from
and
Vale is with him all this season at the moment playing because Vale is
Yeah,
not doing
and
the
yeah,
and
summer
Joe
season.
Jones,
yeah,
is it Romeo, Flankeo, Gaz?
Mm,
Oh yeah, they are. All
yeah.
right, so
yeah. And
the
Tim and
Jones
also
gang.
FNG Kill
But
and
this
so
always
on. Yeah,
happens for the summer season where you sort of get movements here, there, and everywhere, and it's understandable. And Gaseo
mm,
Jones just popped in actually, as I
yeah,
said, "Hello, mate." Yeah, I'm back. Woohoo!
yeah.
So it's set up. Everything's set up again now.
I, I think the top eight for all three servers are. I think it's probably the least controversial out of all seasons. I think all the
It
top eight
is, yeah.
across the three servers. I think the least controversial. I don't think we are seeing clans that made it there with a lots of doubts.
Mm.
Maybe before the punishment done by Wargaming, then I think there are lots of questions about RNG making it to top eight in the end. But sadly, it was.
But
I
the
mean,
thing,
sadly,
I
with that
mean, this is the
punishment,
thing.
it
I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
I personally like summer season because it's a different type of tour. You don't always have the big name clans playing because it's people go on holidays. It, things other things occupy people's time, and they want a bit of downtime as well from playing tours all the time and ready for that autumn season. So summer season's always been an intriguing one to that respect, where you get to see different types of clans, which is never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing,
True.
and you can compare the summer season that you're seeing now, and come autumn, it's going to be a completely different scenario again, because obviously the
Yeah.
autumn season is that big ticket to that Blitz Cup, so.
Mhm.
So we'll see a lot more
Yeah,
competition, I think, come autumn season, and you'll have players.
I
Top
expect.
teams have been rested and everything, so it's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I expect the autumn season to be way more competitive,
Oh yeah.
especially when we're looking into top 16,
Mhm.
which was, in my opinion, great in spring season,
Mhm.
when we had the most competitive Challenger Tour, like,
Yeah, we did.
for a long time now.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, it's from my own perspective, because obviously I was playing the Challenger Tour, but we were having a good fight, and in the end, the winner was completely, or who won was completely undecided until the last battle, because it
Which
could
is
have been
great.
Vale, it could have been Raid, it could
Exactly.
have been us. Nobody knew,
And this is the
and
thing. This
it's
is what people want to see. People want to see stuff like that, and you know, that's what the audience wants. It's not, you know, they want to see these tough battles, these tough fights. And the only thing I'm hoping for, touch wood and all that sort of stuff, is that come autumn season, I really want Wargaming to sort out this win rate seeding, especially
Oh, yeah.
100% win
True.
rate counts.
Yeah.
I mean
I
that
think
that really needs to be sorted.
Yeah. Plus, I think the tournament format for the summer season should be built upon too, because I think this new format benefited a lot for small servers, NA and Asia.
Oh yeah.
There were unprecedented level of competitiveness for these two servers for summer season, which should be the season where, like, you know, the least active season, but Asia had probably their first ever season where you need to work hard to get into top 16. Work really hard, I mean, like harder than other seasons.
That's good.
And if I mean, compare it to like one season a year ago, Asia server summer season. One team in the top 16 didn't even participate in the next round, and
Oh wow.
it has been a big change. It was
That's not a bad thing.
it was
Though.
a
It's not
dramatic
a bad
one.
thing. To be fair.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll just go from strength to strength. Will only time will tell. In time, you know, it's not going to be that far away until we get to. We've got a bit of a downturn now, you know, but autumn season, we'll be honest, before we know it. To be fair,
Yep.
I mean, when they look at doing the Blitz Cup around. See you, Mako. Thank you for popping in, my friend. If they're looking to do the Blitz Cup around October time, then we've got a break in August, and then PYS's for autumn season will start kicking off around September time. I would have thought. End
Yep.
of September, middle to end of September, something like that. So.
Yeah, I think it will be exciting for all the servers. I want to see if Wargaming is going to change something for the format too. But I hope, like for Asia and NA, I really hope Wargaming is going to keep that Bronze Gold series. I would pretty much, encourage Wargaming to do so, but probably with a little bit of editing and also changes.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think
that's the reason why
it's
they
a good
do it in
idea.
summer season to see if it's going to work and to look at the problems.
Yeah.
And you know, I was saying on the big Discord yesterday to Iraq, yeah, you know, the comment was, yeah, but they didn't have, you know, they don't tell me they didn't realise that clans were going to get double cups because of silver and gold. They probably didn't realise that. And that's the reason why they're doing this. It's there to test and see where the potential pitfalls are, to tinker with it and change it. So you know, you just can't throw too much at the summer season. Not when they change it.
But I think that was pretty much an obvious oversight. Like,
Well, you say that. I mean,
to
when you've only got two people developing it effectively,
yeah,
they probably
Yeah.
is an oversight. It's probably, you know, they probably hadn't anticipated it at all. It probably didn't even factor into their equations that clans are going to do this. And then when it happened, they're like scratching their head saying, "Oh bugger, that's an issue."
Oh yeah, true. But yeah, I don't know, but I think it's going to be unlikely. But if Wargaming decides to do like PYS for just EU and RU and bronze and gold for NA and Asia, I will be up for it, because I think it's the best in this way.
Well,
But
we'll wait
I
and
could
see.
see that they will have to do a lot of advertisement
I mean,
I think
don't forget,
yeah.
the bronze, silver, gold series was around long before the ticket events as such,
Yeah.
and they were always successful. They were always good. They were always interesting. But then they moved to the ticket events, which they tried to basically do the same thing, but would make it simpler. Which was basically, you know, you win X amount of cups, and if you get enough cups, then you go into the second day, which is basically like the former gold series, which was, you know, it's the ticket event. But the problem that they had there was you know, the cups are worked out in a weird way, and you know,
Yeah.
lots of things were strange about it, and it was actually a bit more complex than the gold, silver, and bronze series, which was pretty straightforward. I mean, it was very straightforward. You know, you did the bronze series. If you win or you come, you know, into the quarterfinals, you get to the silver series. If you win or come to the quarterfinals, you get to the gold series. Pretty straightforward shit. Nothing to do with cups. Nothing to do with anything. It was just based purely on your performance. but yeah, I mean, they've all got their ways and means around it. But let's see. Anyway, on that, I am going to go.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while now.
Yeah.
And anyway, but we're back. That's the main thing. We're back, baby. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and hopefully all the free servers will be covered by different streamers. I think there will be a lot of new streamers coming through. So I think we'll show our support to those too.
Yeah, I mean, most probably there will be. Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see where Wargaming want to go with it. I mean, at the end of the day, there's lots of things that can happen. So time will tell. Right, and with that, I'm going to go. So, guys, thank you very much for jumping in on both YouTube and Discord. I'll be back again soon to play. Yay! Maybe not today, because it's Saturday. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible battlefield out there on a Saturday. But probably tomorrow we'll be back to play. And I'll probably try and get onto the NA server as well. Now I've got... yeah.
NA server is going to be filled with lots of streamers. I think, yeah, we'll have to see. But I think I might not stream NA because there are so many streamers that can cover the games anyway. So I think I might not be using.
I believe Fugit is talking about playing on NA server.
Playing, not streaming.
Playing his NA account.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was distracted.
We'll see what's going down. And anyway, with that, I've got some videos coming as well, like the Doom Turtle video, and I've got one on how to play the game, funnily enough, if you're a new player, and other stuff, all in the pipeline that has had to be shelved whilst my ongoing house move took place, which is still ongoing, funnily enough. And anyway, so with that, I'll catch you all again soon. Guys, enjoy whatever time of the day you are in. Maybe some of you are in Sunday already, especially if you're in Australia. If so, enjoy whatever time zone you are in, guys, and I'll catch you all again soon. And thanks for popping in. Until the next time, bye for now.
Bye.